against the Terran, because they'll basically be blasting away your own Marines and Marauders. So while I think he may have stuck with Zergling Baneling a little bit too long, I think he realizes I need to get these Broodlords out right now, and that's exactly what he's going to try and do.
Yep, totally agree with you. We actually have some Dark Templar loading into Jinro's base, but Jinro takes care of that pretty easily with his Ravens getting in there to get that detection. He actually loaded some auto turrets down to deal with the DTs as well. Now look at the center of the map. Look at that command center being built in the center as well. There's a couple of options the Terran players can do with that. They can actually just transform it into a planetary fortress to further help fortify their location. And look at this siege tank depth line along with the Marines, Marauders, and the Thors. That is so scary if you were to run up into that. Like, I wouldn't even go into that location in a million years. That's like no man's land. And so the Protoss and Zerg army here, I mean, Artosis is going to have to think of something else, and I like what he's doing. He's getting the Broodlord, and this is something that I wish he had gotten a lot sooner. He's finally getting some tier 3 units to deal with the menacing Terran army.
Jinro trying to do a little baby drop over here at QXC's base. He was able to take out a pylon. That is about all he's going to get there, and he's getting stormed in the face, so that drop definitely not doing the damage they need. But they have such a scary army. I'm surprised they're even trying to do these little drops. It does look, though, like they're trying to push into this high-yield expansion right now.
Huge Psystorms going down on the siege tanks as that push was occurring, and Jinro actually losing a couple of his infantry units. The siege tanks are very softened up right now, and here comes the deadly Broodlords, but the Ravens coming in with those Seeker missiles, gonna launch on the Broodlords, but Broodlords just have so much HP, and the Psystorm is absolutely devastating this entire push, getting demolished, but more Seeker missiles landing on the Broodlords. I'm not sure if any Broodlords died there, but a lot of them at very critical HP, and down goes the Broodlord. At the same time, feedback going off on the Raven.
It's really funny to see those Hunter-Seeker missiles against Broodlords, because number one, Broodlords are so big they don't take as much splash damage simply because they don't clump up as well, and number two, they have so much armor and HP, it's very rare that you see them actually get taken out by that. But yeah, the battle is continuing here on the right side of the map. They really are trying to just, every inch right now matters, because if they can secure that high yield, keep it going, then they can keep themselves in the game. If they lose that high yield, then they are definitely in terrible shape.
This is an absolute battle for territorial control from both teams right now. Just every inch, like you said, really matters, and both players using every single spell they can under their arsenal, from point defense drone to Hunter Seeker missile to feedback, everything coming into play as both players trying to secure a gold expansion or trying to take out the other gold expansion. And this is the beauty of Metalopolis. Look, there's 3 more point defense drones going down, but the feedback going off on the Ravens after the point defense drone, and now beautiful Psystorms being cast. We even have a Ghost in the mix, EMPing some of these Stalkers right there. Just an insane battle from both teams.
Such a high APM battle here. I do think that they may have overextended themselves, Artosis and QXC. They kind of ran out of units there. But there, like you were saying, man, there were so many spells back and forth. I don't know how these players do it to micromanage that much stuff. So a very epic battle here, and it almost seems like we're back to square one. The only thing that can tell the story of how that battle went is the units lost tab.
Units lost tab, like you said, showing that Artosis and QXC actually really down in the units lost tab, losing several more in terms of resources, and that is not a good story. Actually, if you take a look at the army tab as well, it looks like Team Liquid is currently massing a much larger army. So in all, they didn't really lose that many forces, and QXC is actually really low in the army count at a measly 63 supply, and this is bad. If QXC loses this gold expansion, you might be able to count him out of the game, and with that, it might be a really tough part for Artosis and QXC to actually win this game.
A very tense moment here as they are moving into this high yield. There's a bunch of Vikings here just chilling, waiting to take out those Broodlords. So we are going to see a big battle right now. And I think that the 2 Terran players are probably going to have enough to just plow their way in here. But the Storm got to be eating up a lot of units here. How long can they hold on with just Storm, though?
I don't think they're going to be able to hold on very long at all. There are some Stalkers underneath to deal with these Vikings, but at the same time, the siege tanks starting to make work on the Nexus, and the Nexus may very well go down for the 2nd time today. And if QXC loses this Nexus, man, he's going to be hard-pressed for minerals and gas. He does have 1,000 banked, but his gas is doing very, very low right now, and he needs gas for those Psy Storms. And if he, oh man, he just lost the Nexus, so now he's not going to really be able to pump out much more forces. He's going to have to depend on Artosis, and Artosis is Broodlords, and unfortunately, the Broodlords just haven't been doing all that well against this massive, massive Viking army.
There was a little Hellion raid in the top center, able to kill about 8 drones there just now. So, I mean, he lost all the Hellions, but it did end up, I think, being worth it. And since the Nexus did go down, they're going to try and go up this choke. The Storms are just happily eating up this Terran army, though. But he doesn't have that many High Templar. His army size is dwindling. And so now they have position over this high ground, and they're probably actually going to be securing this soon. And I do just want to mention that, well, number one, a couple of Marauders just sacrificed themselves. But there apparently TLO has a planetary fortress outside his natural, and you don't see that very often.
A planetary fortress chilling right outside his natural, maybe just to help against a possible, you know, Zergling or Baneling attack. Look at these Seekers, Ravens coming in here, throwing down PDD, and then the Hunter Seekers going off on the Templars. Very nice by Jinro, and QXE coming into the storm just a little bit, and look at this, we have a massive Doom drop coming in, but the cargo is only holding Zerglings and Banelings. I don't know how much damage this is going to be able to do to a Terran player who does have the option of lifting off. Jinro here really has a massive army of Ravens. He could actually Seeker Missile a lot of these things down, but there's a ton of carnage going on in his base. Is he going to be able to hold this off?
Now the pathing in StarCraft 2, getting a lot of the Zerglings stuck, just now getting the good surround on these buildings that he needs. Is this going to do enough damage though? Because like we were saying, they don't kill buildings super, super quick anymore. And so once these Hellions get back up here to defend this, I don't think this drop is going to work. This is looking pretty dire for Artosis, and it doesn't help that he has a bunch of units just idling inside his base.
His units are doing like Ring Around the Rosie in the base. I think Artosis did this and kind of just forgot about it because originally he was getting harassed so much by those Hellions and in the dropships, but now he's kind of just forgot about that army. And I think it's really comedic that Jinro and TLO launched Seeker Missiles to deal with those Zerglings and Banelings, even though it was doing friendly fire damage to all the buildings down below. But hey, that's just how Terran roll. They don't care about friendly fire. And look at this massive, massive siege tank line has inched their way forward and basically stolen QXC's gold. Meanwhile, massive battle right here between the Corruptors and the Vikings. The Corruptors using Corruption on the Vikings, but just so many point defense drones are blocking all of the Corruptors' attacks. There's like 4 point defense drones here, and the Storm trying to clean up along with the Broodlords. Massive battle here.
This is literally an uphill battle here for Artosis. He's trying to basically take this by himself, but his partner QXC ran out of steam, and so it was a good choice by Artosis to get massive amounts of Corruptors and Broodlords. I think that was his only viable option, but this is not looking good. The Battlecruiser's able to clean up house, and it does look like QXC gonna tap out, and I can only imagine Artosis is gonna follow suit.
Both players GGing there to Team Liquid, and so the Little One and Jinro taking game number 1. We should mention that this show match is a best of 5, and of course the winners are awarded some money. I believe it's something like $500, and so stay tuned, guys. We are going to have game 2 on the way. Thanks a lot for checking us out, and once again, make sure to check out the link down below. That is Tagalicious, a very cool app, sponsoring once again yet another awesome StarCraft 2 event.
Here we go.